Hello friends! Start by adding 1 egg to 1 pound or 450 grams of ground beef. Then add half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of oregano. Stir everything well, either with a spoon or by hand. Today, we're making a simple, delicious dish that will bring comfort and warmth to your family. Now take 2 eggplants, cut them as shown in the video. I love using eggplants in dishes like this. It always brings back memories of family meals. They're so versatile and soak up all the flavors so nicely. If you have any questions about the recipe, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments, and I'll reply as soon as I can. Friends, if you enjoyed the video, a like would be much appreciated. It's the best way to support me. Friends, if you like my content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more recipes like this. Pour a little olive oil onto a baking tray. This will help prevent the eggplants from sticking. Just a light drizzle is all we need. Place the eggplants in it. Salt them well on all sides. It helps remove any bitterness and makes them cook perfectly. Secure them with a wooden skewer so they hold their shape during cooking. By the way, please tell me where you're watching from, which country, state, or city. I love seeing photos of your cities, and I really enjoy how you connect and talk to each other in the comments. Drizzle a little more oil on top, then place them into a preheated oven at 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Next, finely chop a bunch of fresh parsley. I love adding parsley. It's not just for color, but it brings a fresh, bright flavor that really lifts the dish. It's amazing how something so simple can completely transform the taste. Add it to the ground beef mixture. Next, heat some olive oil in a pan. Finely chop 1 onion. Onions always remind me of the comforting smells from my mom's kitchen, simmering away in the pan, filling the house with warmth. Sauté the onion until it's soft and golden. Now grate 1 carrot. There's something about the way carrots add a subtle sweetness to a dish that just makes everything feel more wholesome. They're not only delicious, but also packed with beta-carotene, which is great for maintaining good vision. Add it to the pan. Let everything cook together until it's all nice and soft. When everything's softened, remove it from the heat to cool a little. Then add it to the ground beef mixture. In a frying pan, add a little olive oil. Then chop 4 garlic cloves coarsely. Garlic always brings me back to my childhood. My mom would chop garlic, and it would fill the whole house with that irresistible aroma. It's amazing how such a simple ingredient can make a dish feel so comforting and full of flavor. Fry them gently in the pan until fragrant. Now, chop 2 small or 1 large tomato into large squares. I love using tomatoes in cooking. They bring such a juicy, fresh flavor, and they're also rich in antioxidants, which help keep our skin looking youthful and healthy. Add the tomatoes to the pan and let them cook down, releasing all those amazing flavors. Next, chop 1 bell pepper into squares. I really enjoy adding bell peppers to dishes. Their vibrant color just brightens everything up. Plus, they're a fantastic source of vitamin C, which helps keep us healthy, especially when we need that little extra boost. Add the chopped bell pepper to the pan with the tomatoes. Add half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of paprika, and half a teaspoon of oregano. Sauté everything for about 5 to 7 minutes until the vegetables are nice and soft. Then, remove from the heat and transfer to a bowl. Now, in the bowl, add 3 tablespoons of tomato sauce, 2 teaspoons of sugar. Using an immersion blender, blend everything together until smooth. This helps to combine the ingredients thoroughly and creates a silky sauce that will perfectly complement with the eggplants. Now, pour cold water into a small saucepan. Add 2 eggs, bring it to a boil, and cook for about 6 to 7 minutes for hard-boiled eggs. Next, slice 4 to 5 potatoes. I love using potatoes in so many dishes. They're hearty and so versatile. Plus, they're perfect for soaking up all those wonderful flavors. Once they're sliced, place them in a bowl. Add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of dried garlic, then pour in 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Grate 5 ounces or 150 grams of Parmesan cheese. I love using Parmesan. It adds such a rich, savory flavor that really enhances any dish. The cheese will melt beautifully, giving the potatoes an extra creamy texture when they bake. Add about 2/3 of the grated cheese to the potatoes. Mix everything well. Then take a baking dish and place the seasoned potatoes in it. Bake them into a preheated oven at 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for 45 minutes. Once the eggplants are done, take them out of the oven. Roll them in flour as shown in the video. Then stuff them with the ground beef mixture. Now, grate 5 ounces or 150 grams of cheddar cheese. Place it in a bowl. Let's check our eggs. Once they've boiled, drain the water and place them in cold water to cool. This helps them peel more easily. After they're cool, grate them on a coarse grater. Grating these eggs brings back memories of helping my grandmother in the kitchen. It's such a simple task, but I remember how she'd hum as we worked together. It's funny how the smallest moments can stick with you, isn't it? Add the grated eggs to the cheese. Finely chop a bunch of green onions. Add them to the mixture. Then add 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Mix everything together. Take your eggplant petals and stuff them with this creamy mixture, forming a nice little cap on top. Pour the vegetable sauce underneath the eggplant in the baking pan. Sprinkle the remaining grated Parmesan cheese over the eggplants. Bake the stuffed eggplants for 30 minutes at 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. Finally, take the eggplants out of the oven. Place it on a plate. Once the potatoes are done, place some potato wedges on a plate. And you're all set to enjoy a delicious meal. Take a bite, and I promise, the combination of savory, cheesy eggplant with those crispy, flavorful potatoes will become an instant favorite. It's the kind of meal that makes everyone smile, and it's sure to be a hit at your table. Thank you for cooking with me today, but that's not all. I have a second equally delicious recipe for you. In a bowl, crack 2 eggs. Add half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of oregano, and half a teaspoon of paprika. Whisk everything together until the eggs are light and frothy. This simple mix is the start of something really flavorful. Today, we're making a dish that's hearty, comforting, and easy enough to become a go-to in your family, one of those meals everyone looks forward to. Now, pour a bit of olive oil into a frying pan. Add a 1/4 stick or about 30 grams of butter. Once the butter is melted and starts to sizzle gently, add in half a pound or 250 grams of ground beef. As it cooks, break it up with a spatula and stir until it's beautifully browned and caramelized. The sound of sizzling beef always reminds me of cozy evenings at home, when that smell meant something delicious was on the stove and dinner was just around the corner. Now, season the beef with another half teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of oregano, and half a teaspoon of paprika. Stir well so the spices coat the meat evenly and let it cook just a bit longer so everything blends together. Then remove it from the heat and transfer it to a separate bowl. Letting it cool just slightly helps the flavors settle in and keeps the meat juicy and tender when we mix it later. Next, place another pan over medium heat. Add a little more olive oil, then add another 1/4 stick or 30 grams of butter. I love this combination. The olive oil brings depth and richness, while the butter adds that cozy golden flavor that always feels like comfort food. Now, finely chop 1 white onion. It's such a simple ingredient, but one that builds the foundation of so many wonderful meals. The moment it hits the pan and starts to sizzle, you can feel the whole kitchen come alive. Add the onion and cook it gently. Stirring now and then until it's soft and golden. That sweetness it releases while it cooks. It's one of those small details that brings everything together and makes the whole dish feel homemade. While the onion is cooking, grate 4 large cloves of garlic using a mini grater. Garlic has always been a must-have in my kitchen. Not just for its deep, bold flavor, but for the memories it brings. I still hear my grandmother's voice telling me, "Eat garlic, it'll keep you strong." And she was right. It's known for its immune-boosting properties and is especially comforting during colder months. Add the garlic to the pan with the onion and let it release that beautiful aroma. Next, grate 1 carrot. Carrots always bring such a gentle sweetness that rounds out the dish. I love how they melt into the mix, adding color and balance. My mom used to say, "Eat your carrots. They're good for your eyes." And she was right. Add the grated carrot to the pan. Now, finely chop half of a red bell pepper. Red bell peppers are one of my favorites. They bring a subtle sweetness and just a hint of smokiness, along with a gorgeous pop of color. They're also full of vitamin C, which helps keep our immune system strong and our skin healthy. Add that to the pan and give everything a gentle stir. Then, finely chop 1 ripe tomato. Tomatoes always feel like a fresh burst of sunshine in a dish. They add a juicy, slightly tangy element that brings everything together. I love how they brighten up the flavors and make the whole pan smell like summer. Add it in with the rest of the vegetables and stir everything together as it cooks. Now, for the eggplants, one of the stars of this dish. Take 4 to 5 eggplants and slice them into thick rounds, about 2 inches or 5 centimeters thick. Using a spoon, carefully scoop out the centers, leaving just a bit at the base to form little boats. This part always brings me back. My grandmother used to stuff eggplants and zucchinis, and I'd watch, completely fascinated by how she turned simple vegetables into something so special. Set the eggplant boats aside and take the scooped out flesh. We're not wasting a thing. and chop it into small pieces. Add those to the frying pan with the rest of the vegetables. Let everything cook together until the mixture is soft and fragrant. There's no need to season just yet. We'll bring all the flavors together in the next step. Once the vegetables are fully cooked and tender, remove the pan from the heat. Carefully transfer the mixture into the bowl with the ground beef. Give everything a good mix so all the ingredients are evenly combined. Let the filling cool slightly before we move on. This little pause helps all the flavors settle and makes the mixture easier to work with. Now, finely chop a bunch of fresh parsley. There's something so satisfying about chopping fresh herbs. The smell alone instantly freshens up the kitchen. I always reach for parsley when I want to bring a dish to life. It adds a bright, fresh note that balances the richness of the filling beautifully. My grandmother always had a little bunch of parsley on the windowsill, ready to toss into whatever she was making. Add the chopped parsley to the bowl with the ground beef and sautéed vegetables. Give everything a really good stir. This is the moment when all those layers of flavor begin to blend together. You'll notice the aroma deepen and the mixture starts to feel like a real dish coming together. Next, take a baking dish and lightly grease it with a little olive oil. Then, take your eggplant boats and gently brush the inside and edges with olive oil using a pastry brush. It's a small detail, but it helps them roast up beautifully, golden and just a little crispy around the edges. That texture really makes a difference. Now go back to the bowl with your beef and veggie mixture and pour in the whisked egg mixture. Stir thoroughly so everything is well combined. The eggs will help bind everything together while also adding softness and richness. Using a spoon, carefully fill each eggplant boat with the mixture. Don't be shy. Pack it in nicely so every bite is full of flavor. Once they're all filled, place the stuffed eggplants into the baking dish and transfer to a preheated oven at 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. Let them bake for about 25 minutes. While the eggplants are baking, grate some cheddar cheese. I love cheddar for this. It melts into a creamy golden topping and adds a little sharpness that pairs beautifully with the filling. But if you prefer something milder, like mozzarella, that works just as well. It's always fun to play around with different cheeses. Each one brings a unique twist to the final dish. After 25 minutes, take the eggplants out of the oven and sprinkle that lovely grated cheese on top. Return them to the oven for another 10 minutes, just until the cheese melts and turns golden and bubbly. In a small bowl, add 1 can of Greek yogurt. Then mix in 1 teaspoon of tomato paste, 1 teaspoon of mustard. Now, grate 1 garlic clove on a mini grater. It adds that signature aroma we all love. Add it straight into the bowl. Next, sprinkle in half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and half a teaspoon of paprika for a warm, smoky touch. Then, grate 1 small pickle on a mini grater. This gives the sauce a lovely tang and a little crunch that cuts through the richness of the dish. Stir it in. Mix everything together until smooth and creamy. It's a quick sauce, but it brings so much character and really ties the whole dish together. Now, let's check on the eggplants. Once they're beautifully golden and bubbly on top, take them out of the oven. Carefully place a few on a plate. Spoon over some of that creamy sauce, or serve it on the side for dipping. Take a bite, the soft, savory filling, the golden cheesy top, and that cool, tangy sauce come together in such a satisfying way. It's hearty, comforting, and full of flavor. One of those dishes that makes you slow down and enjoy every bite. I hope your family loves it as much as mine does. Thank you for cooking with me today. Until next time, happy cooking!